Some exciting news. So normally when I have a new product, you guys know, if you've been following me for a while, I do a very nice, high quality, very cool looking launch video. And I'm still doing that. I'm actually in the process of doing that right now. That's why we're here in the studio. But this time, I am so excited about this one that I just could not help my excitement. I just want to let people know. Plus, it's in stock, right? It's here. It's ready to ship out. I just want to let people know that it exists. And then I'm going to continue to shoot and work here, and I'm going to release my more in-depth look at this. But, without further ado, this is why we're here. Check this out. This is what I'm calling high performance speed rail. So it's carbon fiber speed rail. This is the real deal. It is 3 mils thick. It's very thick. Here you see it with our Houdini clamps. And here you see it on our hitch with our CineMilled action arm. And so you can see here, look how beautiful it looks, right? Amazing. And here it is with our triple clamp, right? And so anyways, let me get into more details about why you would want some CineMilled high performance speed rail, right? Why you would want to add some carbon fiber into your diet. So, I'm a petrol head, what some people would call a petrol head. I'm a car guy. I've been racing motorcycles and cars since I was a teenager. And so, in fact, we're here in my garage. There's my race car right there, the garage/studio here. And of course, that means I'm obsessed by carbon fiber. Like a lot of you out there that may be watching this, you probably have carbon fiber trim on your car. You'll have, as much carbon fiber as you can afford. Traditionally, carbon fiber is very expensive. Prices have come down a lot over the years, over the decades. But in any case, let's get to it. So why would you want carbon fiber speed rail in your kit? So the first use, I would say, is for people using skater dollies. And that is, for a lot of you, you might know it as like a Dana dolly, right? Any slider, quote unquote slider, or dolly that uses skateboard wheels that usually ride on speed rail, right? And so the reason why this is so great is that look at that finish, right? That is mirror smooth gloss gel coat. So what that means is this is the smoothest piece of track you will ever be able to put your Dana dolly or your skater dolly, right? So I'm really excited to offer this. So for people that have those kinds of dollies, those skater dollies, this is particularly interesting because one, this is 50% less weight than an equivalent aluminum tube. It's more than 50% less weight. That's just a rough estimate. I have some weight numbers on our website. If you missed it, this is in stock. It's on our website. You can go there right now and order it. You can go to our website, click on new products, and you're going to find it right there. It's also in the vehicle rigging section on our website. So back to slider dolly use. So the mirror smooth finish, number one. Number two, the low weight of the track. Let's call it the track. A lot of times with dollies like that, you're climbing upstairs in an office building. You have to take the dolly track up to the top of a hill or something like that. So obviously, having very lightweight carbon fiber track to hug or to lump around is a huge advantage. So carbon fiber speed rail, high performance speed rail for your skater dolly is a huge use case. All right, so now we got that out of the way. Let's go into vehicle rigging, right? So here we got our CineMilled action arm, and it's using our 2 meter long carbon fiber high performance speed rail right here, right? And so, why is it interesting for people doing vehicle rigging, right? Putting suspension arms, black arms, action arms like the one behind me on. A lot of people are increasingly putting these kind of arms on sports cars, you know, M3s, AMG station wagons, Porsches, all these kind of things. And so obviously this not only looks the part of and fits right in with even some of the interior on some of those vehicles or the trim pieces, the exterior trim pieces. So it looks great to go along with the amazing looks of your sports car that is now your camera car. But more importantly, this is more than 75% stiffer than an equivalent aluminum tube. So that makes a huge difference in your the stiffness and the resulting build of your rigging, right? Of course, naturally, it's less than half the weight of aluminum. So maybe not so important if you have a sports car, if you have a performance SUV, right? You got a lot of horsepower to move that weight around. But if you're rigging Speedrail to a motorcycle, like I have done a few times, you end up having to use a lot of Speedrail to rig up a motorcycle, a camera on a motorcycle. So this is very attractive because on a motorcycle, you know, having all that tube weight so high up, sometimes we even put an overhead over the rider's head as a brace, makes a huge difference in performance. So having cutting that weight by half on a motorcycle is huge. So same thing with rigging up a snowmobile, doing a snowmobile rig with Speedrail, you're going to drop half of the weight. Maybe a wave runner, right? A jet ski. So those kind of rigs, a bicycle, you know, any sort of rig where low weight has a big impact is a big deal, And now having the option to use our high performance carbon fiber Speedrail is a huge advantage in those cases. You know, when you're building these motorcycle rigs, it makes a big difference to be able to keep it lightweight. You know, it makes a big difference to the rider. You know, to the dynamics of the motorcycle. So let's get into a few details. So obviously, like I said, skater dollies for rigging motorcycles, any sort of you know, UTV, snowmobiles, jet skis, and then sports cars, like I said, because this offers a higher performance. It offers the amazing good looks, matching the performance of the vehicle you're putting it on. And the final interesting little tidbit is that carbon fiber has really good vibration absorption properties. Now this is why we use carbon fiber on bicycle frames, mountain bike frames, on lots of different kind of frames, because it actually absorbs some high frequency vibration especially. So that's maybe not going to be a huge thing, but it's definitely a factor that we should talk about. The carbon fiber tube versus the aluminum tube definitely offers a lot more. Yeah, there you go. Scott's saying his carbon bike is a pleasure to ride. It is, you know, those of us who have ridden a full, especially a hardtail with no suspension, a full aluminum bike and then a full carbon bike, you can definitely feel the difference. Those of you who ride road bikes, you know, the ones with the skinny tires, sort of like Lance Armstrong, an aluminum bike frame for a road bike has no suspension, right? Versus a carbon fiber bike frame, it's a big difference in comfort. So this is well documented. So it definitely has some vibration absorption qualities. So that's kind of a nice side effect, nice bonus, I should say. But primarily the advantage of our high performance Speedrail is going to be lightweight and the fact that it's incredibly stiff, way stiffer than aluminum. So any of you who have ever used a Speedrail menace arm, just like one I have here in my studio, right? You see, I have a dual menace arm right there, right? And so you can see here, I'm using a ratchet strap as a brace, because if any of you have ever put one of these together, you'll know that if you don't have that strap on there, this thing bends like a banana, right? Aluminum speed rail, right? Schedule 40 speed rail tubing is very flexy. It bends quite a bit at longer lengths. And it doesn't matter if it's a quarter, inch and a quarter or inch and a half, it's gonna bend, right? And this is why when you buy the Speedrail Menace arms, they have that thing where you can put the strap on top, right? So the carbon fiber Speedrail is more than 75% stronger than the aluminum, right? Now, how do I know this, right? I've done quite a bit of testing, of course, before I brought this product to you guys. I actually did all my testing with a much thinner 2mm wall tube, right? And so I tested to see if I could crush the tube with different clamps. I put up to 90 pounds of weight on a horizontal tube to see how much, measure the deflection, right? Measure how much flex, how much bend the tube had versus an equal length aluminum tube, right, that we sell, right? We sell both raw colored aluminum and anodized aluminum on our website, and now we're going to offer carbon fiber as the high performance option. So when I was doing these bending tests, and it's really easy to do, and I'm going to do them on my more long form video that I'm working on right now. As you can see here, I'm in the studio. I'm going to get into a lot more details in that video, but I'm actually going to demonstrate. I'm going to put a straight edge on a horizontal tube. I'm going to put weight on it, and then I'm going to measure with my caliper. I'm going to show you how much flex the aluminum speed rail has, and then we're going to do the same thing with the carbon, and you're going to be able to see really quick, easy math to see exactly what's the difference, right, between aluminum speed rail and carbon fiber speed rail, right? And it's a big difference. The carbon fiber easily outperforms the aluminum. So let's talk about clamps, right? That's the next question a lot of you are going to have, right? Oh, can you crush this tube? Like blah blah blah. Look, I've tested the clamps on them. I went from 2 mil to 3 just to give me extra safety. I was not able to crush the aluminum tube. Oh, sorry, we got a little issue there. I was not able to crush the tube. Even so, I increased the wall thickness to 3 millimeters. But here's what I would say, right? I would highly recommend our CineMilled Houdini clamps. And of course, I want to sell you CineMilled things, but there's a very good reason for this. One of the features of our CineMilled Houdini clamps, both R360 and this one right here, which is the fixed Houdini, what we call the fixed Houdini. It features a constant radius clamping surface. So what that means is we get a lot more surface area contact than most other regular sort of scaffolding clamps. So the clamps that a lot of you know as like a Pro Burger, those TUV approved clamps, right? Great for what they've been being used for decades. But they are more oval. The profile of them, the radius profile is more oval. And so it actually puts a pressure point on the tube, and it localizes all the pressure of that clamp on one point on the tube. And if you were to be really extreme about it, you know, you could actually like ovalize an aluminum tube, right? Kind of crush the tube. Now, since all of our clamps feature a constant radius, we have a lot more surface area, and it actually applies a lot more evenly distributed clamping force, and it doesn't ever damage the tube. This is for aluminum, and of course, on our carbon fiber tube. So as you can see here, I moved this clamp around and it didn't mark up the tube. This is my testing tube. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm using a CineMilled clamp. So at this point, I would say I would highly, highly recommend only using CineMilled clamps with our high performance speed rail. Plus, they're black anodized. You know, what's the point of buying this really expensive carbon fiber speed rail, and then putting really cheap steel scaffolding clamps on there, right? That doesn't make any sense. One of the points where a lot of people are buying my black anodized speed rail is for looks. Let's be honest. And so obviously, what looks better than carbon fiber and these really nice, beautiful billet clamps that we make and that we sell. So they go together really well, and it's safer, right, for the carbon fiber. Also, the last thing you want to do and make an investment in your carbon fiber speed rail, and then start marking it up and ruining the surface finish of the carbon fiber with sort of like all these different kind of inexpensive, maybe inexpensive or less expensive speed rail clamps that exist, right? So highly recommend using the CineMilled clamps. Scott's saying here, I love using your clamps. The machining and the hardware are top notch. Thank you very much. So hey, Scott, nice, another Scott Balcom here. So check it out. What I'm calling high performance speed rail, carbon fiber speed rail, made for CineMilled per our specs. You see there, our sticker is underneath the gel coat, so it's made for us. 3 mil thick, extremely good for Dana dolly use, for skater dolly use, because of the beautiful mirror finish. But moving on, so use our clamps is what I would say. Scott, it's available on our website right now. You can head on over there, click on new products, and you'll see it right at the top. It's available in both sizes, 1.25" and 1.5". That's what we call it in the US. I have a video on that. But basically, it's 1.66, 1.9, and in millimeters, it's 42 and 48. That's the outer diameter. But lengths, we have 4 feet. We have 1 meter, which is 3.3 feet, and then we have the 6 meter length, which is 6.6 feet. So actually longer than the aluminum ones we sell. And why don't we take a look here into the beautiful carbon fiber speed rail and my action arm. And yeah, so super excited to bring this to market. Being a car guy, I'm crazy about carbon fiber. It is used in airplanes. The Airbus A380 wings are made out of it. We stake our lives on it every day. Formula One survival cells, the main chassis of a Formula One car, of an Indy car, is all made from carbon fiber. The suspension components on a Formula One car are made from carbon fiber. And so, those guys bet their life on it, on carbon fiber. And so, obviously, just to hold a black arm, or in my case, an action arm on a vehicle, it's more than capable. And obviously, compared to aluminum speed rail, it's much better, right? It's actually much stiffer, right? And so hey, let's talk about that real quick. Let's get a little bit technical. So there's different kind of mechanical forces at play. There exists compression force. There's a bending force. It's actually what it's called, bending. It's flex, right? And tension, right? Torsion. And hey, what's up, New Zealand? I actually lived in Australia. Some people don't know that. Always wanted to hop over to New Zealand, but never got there. But one of these days, I would love to visit New Zealand. But in any case, back to the carbon fiber. Excuse me. So, yes, one of the things where this is maybe, you have to use some common sense when dealing with carbon fiber. Excuse me. And that is, obviously you don't want to use Hollander fittings or speed rail fittings with our carbon fiber speed rail. And that's because Hollander fittings do not have clamps. They have what's called grub screws. They have like little teeth, and they bite into the aluminum speed rail, right? And so if you use those a lot, after a while, on a grip truck on a big movie studio, you'll see they use a lot of those Hollander fittings. the Speedrail gets all these little dimples on it, right? And eventually for them, it's like an expendable, and they just, they get rid of it, and they buy some new Speedrail. But obviously for the carbon fiber, you don't want to use a grub screw. Because if you try hard enough, it's going to slowly drill itself into the carbon fiber and permanently damage that carbon fiber. So you have to use a little bit of common sense. You don't want to be taking your beautiful carbon fiber tube and using grub screws on it, right? And just like I was talking before, you don't also want to be taking your beautiful carbon fiber tube and using some scaffolding clamps on it. You want to use our nice constant radius CineMilled clamps that are anodized black, that won't rub any sort of color or scratch your tube. It'll keep your tubes looking good for a long time. The other force is like a compression force, tension. We're not using it for roll cage tubing, right? Nobody's crashing into this tube, so it's never really, in my opinion, anyways, it's never really going to see that sort of force. Most of the forces in play on most camera rigging setups are going to be bending, right? Bending force. So you have a tube going this way, you might have something at the end of that tube, and the tube is going to want to flex, right? Just like your Speedrail menace arm, right? The weight rating. Well, honestly, my test was I put 100 pounds at the end, and I was measuring the deflection, and I even bounced that weight off of it, and I didn't get it to break. So I don't have a weight rating per se. Maybe for fun, what I'll do here on YouTube is I'll take my forklift, or my friend's forklift, and I'll start loading weight into the middle of a six foot span until it breaks. But what I can tell you from experience and from research is that it is 2 or 3 times stronger than an equivalent piece of aluminum Speedrail. So I completely understand your question. Yes, it would get a lot of views, and this is probably why I'll do it. Plus, it'll be fun. It's always fun to destroy things, right? To break things. But the point is, I'm not, I haven't gone to those lengths because honestly, what are we really talking about here when we're talking about our 2 meter length of Speedrail, right? That's 2 meters right there, 6.6 feet. We're talking about using it for a Dana dolly, right? For a slider dolly across, put a stand here, a stand there, and what are you going to put in the center? At the most, you're going to put what, 100 pounds? There's enough strength there that's going to be more than enough strength, right? You're going to be using this like on a camera car setup, like I have it here, and the weight of the arm plus the payload, I don't know, what is that? 100 pounds, 150 pounds at the maximum? A lot of times, like me, I'm running the dual tube, and it's, in my case, it's always braced off the top, right? I'm never running it like a flagpole. So the forces that are involved with most camera rigging, when it comes to Speedrail, we usually you'll find clamps at a fairly regular interval. You're not going to span a very long distance when doing any sort of vehicle rigging. If you do, you're going to end up putting some sort of triangulation brace or something like that. So in that situation, there's so much strength in these tubes that the ultimate failure limit of the tube is so far above what you're going to encounter, right? What you're going to encounter in your regular sort of car rigging, right? Or certainly Dana dolly use or something like that. So let me be clear. When I tested this is 2 mil thickness wall, right? So the wall of the tube is 2 millimeters. I tested it with 2 and had amazing results. I wasn't able to crush it, right? or anything like that. I could have ordered it with 2. As a safety, to give me some safety margin, because you never know what people are going to do with products that you sell. I decided to err on the side of safety, make the tube a little bit heavier, and the final tubes that we're shipping are 3 millimeters thick. That is very thick for carbon fiber. Trust me, that is almost the same thickness as a Schedule 40 aluminum tube. So any sort of math you can do, you go on YouTube and there's amazing videos comparing carbon fiber to aluminum. And the math is very simple. I mean, if you have an equal wall thickness, a carbon fiber tube is easily, on paper, going to be vastly stronger and stiffer than an aluminum tube. But in any case, in my more long form, fancy product video that I'm shooting, I'm going to actually include some of those destructive testing videos in my video. I'm going to talk about how this tube is actually made, the technique that it makes, what we call the modulus, and all that kind of stuff. But the important thing to know is our high performance carbon fiber tubing is in stock right now. It is on our website right now in 1 meter and 2 meter long lengths, right? That's 3.3 and 6.6 feet long. In both diameters, right? 1.25 inches and 1.5 inches. And you can go ahead and order it right now, and it'll ship out tomorrow morning. And in short time, you'll have the most stylish camera car you'll ever find, or you'll be carrying a lot less weight for your Dana dolly, for your skater dollies, right? Yes, the pricing is very reasonable. Thank you for bringing that up, Scott. I worked hard to try to get this to you guys at a price where it's feasible, right? Because, I mean, we're talking about rigging tubing, and so we have to buy, usually more than one piece, right? We got to buy the vertical piece, we got to buy our triangulation, right? Anybody who's put a car rig together, or if you've watched my SUV vehicle rigging video that I have on my YouTube channel, it's very, you'll see how many pieces you need, So it adds up. So I did my best to try to get this to everybody at a very reasonable price. It's actually a little bit less than double the price of our black anodized, which, trust me, if you've ever bought anything made out of real carbon fiber, right? Especially fairly big things like this, you'll know that this shit gets expensive really fast. We were able to get it, we bought enough of it, and all this kind of sort of economies of scale, and it was made specifically for us, right? That's why you see the sticker the CineMilled sticker is underneath the gel coat. This is not an off-the-shelf item. It was made specifically for us to our spec. I do think it's at a price where it is totally viable for you to buy a couple of these for your skater dolly, for you to buy a few more of these to convert your, sports car camera rig that you might have for your black arm, in my case, my CineMilled action arm, and not break the bank. So yeah, so head on over to CineMilled.com. Right at the top there, it says new products. That's the easiest way to find it. You can also use the search function, just type in like carbon fiber or something. But other than that, it's in our vehicle rigging section. So stay tuned. We have some more really exciting announcements to make coming up soon. In fact, I'm probably going to do another live maybe tomorrow. We have some really fun things. We're going to have a party after NAB. Anyways, I already said too much. So stay tuned. If you see the notification, check it out. If it doesn't interest you, just stop watching. But if you're a fan of what we do, if you like our products and you want to stay in the loop, next time you see a notification pop up, check it out real quick. See what the hell I'm talking about, and maybe it'll be something that really interests you, like some carbon fiber. Because for me, oh man, I got to tell you, carbon fiber is sort of the ultimate status symbol as a gearhead, right? As a petrol head, right? So I have a race car. You see, there's my race car back there. We're in my my studio slash garage. There's some more race rims up there. That's right, carbon everything. That's me. I've been wanting carbon everything on any sort of race bike, motorcycle, mountain bike, anything I could do. And then finally one day it hit me. I was like, you know, I helped a friend out with a motorcycle camera rig, and I was looking at all that speed rail, and I was going, man, this is a great use case for carbon fiber. You know, if we can drop the weight by half, it's going to make a big difference. So, anyways, you get the idea. We got high performance speed rail now available at CineMilled.com. Available now. In fact, we got our new location here across the street from the Burbank Airport. So there's if you're local to LA, you can just select local pickup in the shipping option, and you can come on down and pick it up yourself. I can help you with your car rig. I can show you a few other new things we got going on, and we can chat about and see if you need any help. I'm here to help. So, all right, guys, that's it for tonight. It's not something I usually do. I usually do a prepared product launches, but I was just too excited about this one because, you know, hey, because carbon fiber. So, all right, guys, I think what better way to, you know, end this video than with some beauty shots of our carbon fiber tube. Now, imagine your slider rolling on this smooth surface right here. Smooth, stiff surface that's not going to bend, that is going to be light to carry, right? Look how good the CineMilled clamps work and look on this carbon fiber tube, right? If you're lucky enough to have one of our action arms, look how awesome it looks with the action arm and functions, obviously, you know, right? Super stiff. So anyways, guys, that's it. I'm going to sign off now, and let me know if you have any questions. Put them in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one.